right.
We're here, Jackie.
We're here. We're in our slumber party. We shouldn't. Maybe we. It's okay. We did it. Hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Should we open for business?
I think we should.
Okay. You feel that? You feel the energy? You feel the warmth?
Yes.
You know what it is?
What is it? What time is it, Jackie?
It's Slumber Party time! Alright guys, welcome to Slumber Party. Slumber Party is our new YouTube channel that Rebecca and I have started.
I'm Rebecca. I'm a multi-hyphenate from Toronto, Canada, born and raised. I am a filmmaker, a writer, producer, multimedia artist. I love dancing, I love making music. I'm also a retired child actor.
Shout out to all my retired child actors. I did you wrong. My name is Batsinduka. I am also a multi-hyphenate filmmaker. I'm a director, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm an actor, and I'm tired.
We went to the same university, Concordia University in Montreal, and we were in the same program, the communications program.
We lived together for a few years, and we actually made a film together called Genny. Rebecca graciously produced, and I wrote, directed, and acted in.
It was a pleasure.
Wasn't. On Slumber Party, it's gonna be us gal pals exploring the last 20 years of teenagehood from our perspective, hopefully from your perspective.
We wanted to change the connotation of the term slumber party to mean friendship, vulnerability, and intimacy, which we value and we think transcends gender.
Ultimately, we wanted to create this YouTube channel because we wanted to empower young people. You guys are making the most interesting, most compelling content, and you're also consuming the most content, so there's a lot to unpack there.
It's only been a decade since Jackie and I were tweens.
Okay, you don't have to tell them all of that. For all you know, I'm 13 years old right now. So today we wanted to open up by delving into our past so that you can get to know a little bit about ourselves. And we thought the best way to do that is to kind of parse through our own digital footprint. So get comfy, put your bunions up, light something if that's what you're into, you know what I'm saying?
A little candle or...
Sure, a candle.
But like, what is a digital footprint?
So your digital footprint is the aggregate of data derived from the digitally traceable behavior and online presence associated with an individual. It's the sum of the data produced, both by active and passive forms of participation. But like, what does that mean, right? Active participation online is something that we're all quite familiar with. It's content production, it's sharing content. Then there's the more insidious side of your digital footprint, which is passive participation. And so passive participation has two parts. On the one hand, it's got algorithmically generated data, which is a byproduct of your user activity. So that's like liking, favoriting, following, or commenting. It can even be like browsing histories, search queries, like your purchase histories.
If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million.
And then on the other side of that, it's data posted by other users, but that's like linked to you as an individual. If I Google Jackie Batsinduka, I'm contributing to Jackie's digital footprint.
Thank you.
Or not so thank you.
Yeah, maybe. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna start with my digital footprint.
Jackie's digital footprint. Going down memory lane.
This is me in high school. This is 2012, so I was in like 10th grade.
I feel like this post is exactly what I posted 7 years ago in 2012, but instead I'm like in a tutu. Yeah, you truly haven't aged.
I'm 13 years old right now. Okay, cool. So moving on. That's right. I was a musical theater kid. I know it's a surprise to a lot of you. So the first post here that I have was my first musical that I ever was a part of, and that was in middle school. It looks like I'm the only melanated person in the in the whole joint. So you can imagine what my experience was like.
I can't even find you.
Exactly. I blended more into the curtains than I did with my castmates. I have a picture of me in my last High School Musical, starring as Marilla in Anne of Green Gables, the Canadian classic.
Ooh.
It was a colorblind casting. Look at me in all my glory.
Wow, look
Listen,
at you.
Yes. The other thing about being in musical theater as a tween, amongst the people I was amongst, is that my hair went through it, y'all. I was supposed to be aged up. They put a lot of baby powder. So that was kind of the beginning of the end of how I used to style my hair. Who wants to put their fingers through a Brillo pad? Listen, it's the truth. You're triggered, aren't you? At my school, we were part of this thing called Cappies. It's like the Tonys, but for teens. I was a part of Cappies. I was not only a critic, but also an actor. And at the end of every school year, they would nominate people, and then we'd go to the NAC in Ottawa and have our award show. And everyone was like dressed up, looking cute. We didn't have a red carpet, which is unfortunate. You know I'd be stomping on it all day. In Anne of Green Gables, if you're familiar with it, at the end, Marilla has this really emotional song that she's singing, and I cried in it because I'm a thespian. I'm not gonna lie, I bodied that part. But the Cappies critics didn't think so. Essentially, everyone else on my cast was nominated.
No, Jackie. I was waiting for that.
But I wasn't. And what's worse, it's like very 2020 because they announced it on like this archaic like messaging board or whatever, and it was like one by one. And I was sitting there actually with my best friend who was also at the time. I don't claim her now. We're sitting together watching them count down and give all the nominees. We were like, we're a shoo-in, or Jackie's a shoo-in, right? I cried and sang at the same time?
No, that's...
Come on.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there waiting. I'm pretty sure my category was like the last.
Oh, Jackie. This is mortifying.
And they didn't say my name. And
well, I'll say it now.
Say her name.
Jackie Batsinduka.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
The crowd
you.
goes wild.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next iteration of my life in high school that I want to share with y'all is that I was a sports bro, if you will. I was on the volleyball team. What can I say? You know, I'm not only talented when it comes to the stage, but also the court. So the first picture is like entitled Volleyball Range, semicolon, how I lost the winning championship. Look at that arm. Look at
Wow,
her
look at
thighs.
you.
Listen, she was, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I was an athlete. Okay, cool. And then the final iteration that I wanted to share with you guys was when my YouTube career actually began. I had a stint as a YouTube newscaster because I basically scammed my ethics teacher into allowing myself and 3 of my friends to make a YouTube channel called The Darcy Beat, which was like our version of the newspaper that they had run like years back. So we revamped it.
Hi, I'm Jackie Batsinduka, and this is your Sims Darcy Beat.
Look at this sweater.
It's kind of a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a winter wrap.
Yeah. Honestly, at the time, it was just a scam to get out of class, but it was so fun. I was just like in my element, despite not knowing that this was something that I was good at or something I was even really genuinely interested in. It was just like me and a bunch of my friends, just like we're doing now, talking about our school and like making up the stories, whatever we wanted to cover.
It's cool that your school allowed you to do that. You were given this opportunity to start filmmaking when you were a teen, when you didn't have those resources available to you in any other way. Today, just because you have a camera on your phone doesn't mean that you're going to be creating content.
Now it's Rebecca's turn.
I know that you had quite the YouTube career back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, all of it is unlisted now, but for this video, I made a concerted effort to try and find the first YouTube video of mine online, and I found it. 2007, me in my bedroom. I had my webkins out, and the rest is history.
Hello, Diamond. We heard that you want to talk to us. Your agent called. Why, yes, she did. So, Why do you want to be in our movie? Well, I'm perfect for the job.
Your voice.
Child actor.
This is so cute, Rebecca.
Thank you. I had like 1,000 stuffed dogs.
Yeah,
I just loved them so much. And so of course I would puppet them. We had really different upbringings in terms of art and access to art because both my parents, wow, I'm about to out myself. Both my parents are in film, work in film. And so it was always like a part of my life. I grew up with my dad showing me all these like amazing sci-fi and fantasy films and us geeking out together and him being like, did you see that camera angle? And me being like,
I don't know the meaning of the word.
so yeah, I've always kind of had a cinematic lens, you know, to my life. Of course, I wanted to audition my webkins for a film. I was living vicariously through them.
Naturally.
Yeah.
As one does.
Wait, I have a story.
Okay.
So not only did I audition these webkins, but then I ended up working for Gans, the company that made webkins. And I did voiceover work for like webkins video games online.
Hey, come play in a magical world of friendship where you can grow colors and charms and lots of cool stuff. Then make friendship bracelets to send to your Nakama's friends. Nakamas! We're best friends. Play at nakamas.com. Each toy sold separately. Get a parent's permission before going online.
Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You manifested a job at the age of like, how old were you? 2007?
10.
At the age
of 10.
You manifested a whole ass job in the industry.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
Severely underpaid,
Yeah.
might I add. Yeah, I was like, wow, $50? I'm so excited to do this voiceover work. Yes.
$50?
$50, not an hour, $50 flat.
Stop.
Yes. I just want to say that I loved advertising as a kid and I'd memorized commercials. It was my dream to do the like end credits of a commercial.
And you did it.
And I finally got to do it.
Each toy sold separately.
So now we're coming up to 2010 when I was 13 years old. And this video was made at a time when I was finally coming into my own in terms of feeling like a fully realized person. And it was my first time being really online and being a part of the internet. And I had a boyfriend who was really into YouTube.
Okay.
And he showed me a lot of YouTubers that now when I watch them back, I was like, this is hypersexual and I shouldn't have been watching this at 13. Shane Dawson. I did a review of Across the Universe, one of my favorite movies at the time.
So this is the cover box for the deluxe version, but unfortunately, Blockbuster only gave me one of the 2 videos in the deluxe box. Thanks a lot.
The only person who commented on this video was my boyfriend at the time, who gave me scathing critique of the video.
First of all, can I just say, your username is Average Boy. And that says everything that I need to know about you, sir, okay? More eye contact, ellipses. Less minor details, ellipses. I might do my own version, ellipses. More quick pace, ellipses. Less fade outs, more jump cuts, ellipses. And make it more structurized, asterisks. Oops, ellipses. Almost forgot, no constructive criticism. I never said anything, ellipses. Good job, ellipses. Happy face.
And I loved him.
Listen, Average Boy, if I see you in the street, it won't be an average interaction, I'll tell you that, okay? Moving on.
When you see comments like this and you think about the things that you were told when you were younger, it's actually like shocking to think that we made it and that we're actually making films today. I think it's really important to have people in your life and try and surround yourself with people who are uplifting you. We're very lucky that there were people around us who like encouraged us to go into this, because I know a lot of people who are older than me who are just starting out in the industry because they had to overcome like internalized fear and internalized stigma that this wasn't the industry that they were allowed to be in. I think it's really cool that even though, you know, we might not have had all the resources or we didn't have, you know, there weren't always people in our court, there was at least someone. And so go find that someone who's gonna like collaborate with you and make the things you wanna make. Now we're going into the realm of Facebook. Picnic edits. If you know, you know. Hey Edward, can you find me Jacob? Now that I think back on it, it's kind of like amazing that there was this awkward vulnerability online and like in the earlier days of me being on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's not how my life is now. It's very curated. I remember when this picture was taken and when I saw it posted on Facebook, I felt like I was so attractive.
She's caliente. More bangs could never.
First time in my life that how I feel inside was like reflective outside and shareable by other people online. I was like, people can see this. I mean, it literally has 2 likes, me and 1 girl. But at the time I felt like, oh, the version of me that I identify with is out there. And I didn't feel fat and I didn't feel like pimply, or I didn't feel like there was anything wrong with me that I could like overanalyze or scrutinize about. That was also the first time I was online. The first time that like I could be seen digitally as well as in person. I feel like the more I learned through schooling, through my peers in life, being with the internet for a longer amount of time, all those things I learned kind of seep into how you view yourself.
Yeah.
And at that time, I wasn't thinking about how I was gonna look online. I just was thinking, I woke up today and I felt great, and this outfit's so cute, and people think I'm cute, or at least I think they do.
Every day I'm tumbling.
I think one of the reasons why we really bonded without us even knowing this fact about ourselves is that we were 100% Tumblr kids. That is where we lived between the years of like 2012 to 2018.
R.I.P.
We'll get into it. I had my blog. She had a lot of different iterations, I'm not gonna lie. I started my blog in November of 2011. My first blog post, I'm happy to say, is Beyonce, so not much has changed since. Yeah, there was like a lot of infinity signs, a lot of girls in jean shorts, a lot of long socks. I just remember coming home every day after school and just scrolling endlessly, usually to check up on my boys, One Direction. I'm a hairy girl if you're wondering.
I was a Louis girl and I don't want to be ashamed of it anymore.
And you shouldn't be love.
My blog started out as more of a pastel goth blog, and I had like a lot of black and white imagery, again of like random white boys. And then there were a lot of like girls who just looked nothing like me. Tumblr was where I put like who I wanted to become, women who I wanted to look like, or like couples that I wanted to be in relationships like that, or boys that I wanted to be with.
I was a Tumblr blogger who only reblogged. I never posted any of my original content.
Me
I think
too.
that was a lot of people, yeah, exactly.
I didn't really see it as like a place that actually represented me. It just was like a goals page.
Peak passive participation.
In 2011, even though I was reblogging like aspirational content, it started moving away from like cute gifs of strangers who were attractive and I wanted to be like, to like, oh, you can like kind of crush on celebrities and like you can crush on characters in movies. And this was the transition for me between like my early Tumblr account to my like obsessive fandom account. My first like gay fan art that I reblogged was Kurt and Blaine from Glee. And like it's really wholesome, right? Like they're just holding each other and it's really nice. I find it really fascinating that as a like straight cis woman, the only place online that I could find vulnerable images of people together were beautiful fan art renditions of like men being vulnerable and being intimate, and like those were the kinds of men I wanted to be with, and I could see them on Tumblr.
Tumblr was the place where we found our sexual agency, partly because of us being sexually educated through fandom culture, or just any type of post that had to do with sexuality. Before Tumblr, the only place where I got my sexual education was either porn, chat rooms, or Wikipedia. which quite frankly, I don't think anyone would want to have any of those options as their sexual education. And I'm so happy that Tumblr was a place that I could educate myself about my body, about my sexuality, and also about other people's bodies and other people's sexuality.
Yeah, because there was so much diversity on Tumblr of the kinds of people you would see, the kinds of fandoms.
But alas, in 2018, the Tumblr we once knew and loved came to an end because of the censorship ban. The ban happened because of the amount of adult content that was on the site.
Apple wouldn't let the Tumblr app be in the App Store unless they removed all of the pornography. They caved for money, but didn't work in their favor.
The actual ban itself included, quote, photos, videos, or GIFs displaying explicit material, as well as illustrations that depict sex acts. If you were found to be violating these new policies, your posts were automatically set to private. Tumblr built up this reputation outside of its users as being this site that's just for porn. This narrative has since been, dismissed by the site and its users. Another community that was unfortunately hit by this censorship was the amount of activists that were on Tumblr. In 2014, I went from scouring Tumblr every day looking to see what kind of underwear Harry Styles was wearing on the Take Me Home tour, to following the Ferguson riots closely. I was super politicized by it all, rightfully so.
Did I lie? Did I lie? Did I fucking lie?
Learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about the world, learned a lot about the people around me. I would say it made me the person that I am today.
The kinds of people who were going to be affected by the ban also posted activist content. When the ban hit, a lot of people left Tumblr and chose to leave it out of protest. So even though you might not be posting like explicit content, your community was gone.
Yeah, and by that time, both of us were no longer active users of Tumblr just because we kind of grew out of it. But then as soon as the ban hit, I remember that night I went into your room because we were living together at the time.
And they were roommates.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
I was like, have you heard the news? And it was just like, it was a real sad moment to see that, yeah, this whole online community that was a huge part of our upbringing was gonna be completely changed forever and will never be what it once was.
We grew up with the internet, but did we really? We only did at the age of 11, 12, 13. There's no baby pictures of me on the internet like there are for kids now.
Yet. What's nice about the fact that we remember a time where the internet was not such a huge part of our lives is that we can kind of take a step back and look at our digital footprint and consider it as not something that we should necessarily be ashamed of or something that we should hide in any way, but something that has just been constantly changing and will continue to change.
It's true, it's like the version of myself when I was younger doesn't need to feel like a version at all. It can just be an extension of who I am today, and I feel grateful that that part of myself is online and has been recorded. Otherwise, where would it be?
I did want to bring up the other side of the coin about our digital footprint, which is that we also exist offline. We should be challenging ourselves to get to know ourselves more offline, especially now. You can't reduce yourself down to a social media account. You're a person, you are multidimensional.
So, because when I was younger and getting into YouTube when I was about 13, I started vlogging my entire life. But there's no record of that online. I actually don't even know where that content is anymore. And even the fact that I'm referring to these videos that I recorded as content is such a new way of speaking. This concept that we are brands now instead of just people. Oh, how am I gonna brand myself online? What kind of content am I gonna put out? It's you're not a company. You're a person who exists offline and online, and those parts of yourselves don't need to be one and the same. And I think we hold people online to a very high standard as if they are these untouchable brands instead of like real people behind accounts. Some people do have whole teams behind them, you know?
Yeah.
Like Beyonce.
Yeah.
But she's still a person.
She's still a person, and Jay-Z still did her wrong.
Yeah.
I needed to get that off of my chest.
No, I'm glad you
Okay.
did. Because what I'm trying to say is we don't all have the luxury of perfectly curating ourselves online. And I don't think we want to live like that. I think if we stop holding celebrities to this status of needing to have everything perfect online, then we can stop holding ourselves to that same standard.
I did want to know, something about problematic behavior though, because that is such a big part of people's digital footprints. I'm sure everyone in this room and everyone watching has posted something that they wouldn't stand by today, right? We shouldn't just say, delete it, forget about it, it was your past self, don't worry about it. You should take the time to confront yourself and that past problematic behavior and find out whether or not it's something that's still inside of you today. God knows that we have a lot of unconscious biases that we still hold within ourselves that are indicative of the past problematic behavior that a lot of us have online. So that being said as well, that confrontation that we're talking about that we should be having with ourselves doesn't have to be online, my guy, okay? We don't need you clogging up our feeds with your hashtag Blackout Tuesdays. Like, if you are truly an ally, if you truly want to unlearn the things that you should be unlearning, take the time offline to do that with yourself and educate yourself, because you don't have an excuse.
You don't have to show people that you've changed, just change. No one's perfect. Everyone's on a journey, and that's exactly why you should be doing that journey offline and like with people in your life that you like are trust and are confident about, who will tell it to you straight, but also who will give you the space to be like messy.
Yeah.
13-year-old me on Tumblr allowed myself to be messy. And that's what was the best part of it.
But that kind of just rolls into our mandate for this whole channel, right? You know, what we're trying to do with Slumber Party is be transparent in order for things to be accessible for our viewers. By us being transparent about our lives, whether that's our digital footprint or, you know, the content that's going to be coming up about our filmmaking and how we're emerging in this industry in the middle of a fucking pandemic, looking the way that we look, interested in the things that we're interested in, we want to share that with all of you so that you can hopefully feel empowered and capable to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
It freaks me out, to be honest, to know that there's all this digital content about me out there. And so I kind of feel like this channel is a way for me to bring agency back to my digital self, that I'm choosing what goes on this channel. I'm choosing like the content that's coming out and shaping my own narrative about myself, whether it's for other people or for myself. Who do I want to be today? Yes, maybe that's counter to what we're saying about doing the work offline, but I'm doing the work offline and then I'm just bringing it online, the select things that I want to speak about. And I think that's pretty cool.
Say it with your chest, Rebecca.
Pretty cool.
Well, we want to, turn it over to you guys. First of all, what are you doing to get your sexual education right now? And then also, how do you feel about your digital footprints right now in the middle of this pandemic? How much of your offline selves are merging with your online selves? Thanks so much for watching. This has been like super fun.
So much fun.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. You know why? Because you're gonna smash that subscribe button. That's it. I see that cursor. I see that cursor thinking about it. Okay, bye. Bye, guys. Woo!